This video is brought to you by Grandeur Warranty, your #1 online source for factory-backed extended warranties in the country.
This is the new Kia Sorento X-Pro 2.5 Prestige all-wheel drive. Now I had to say that first because I'm going to forget it after this review, and this is one of our fast take reviews. I'm here with the Rocky Mountain Automotive Press. We've got about a half hour to review these cars, so I'm going to do a fast take. I'm going to give you all the pertinent and important information about this. We'll kind of have a quick discussion about, what makes this interesting and cool, what it competes with, and then we'll take it for a ride and find out just how it does on the road. Unfortunately, we can't go off-road because this is the X-Pro, which is kind of the soft off-roader. It competes with cars like the Santa Fe, the Passport, Trail, what is it called? Trail Sport, thank you, too many sports. What distinguishes this from those vehicles is the same thing actually that they all have, which are these more off-road worthy, in this case, BFG Goodrich trail terrain TAs with a little bit more bite, 8.2 inches of ground clearance, and of course, Cole, come up here, I gotta do this, the X-Pro moniker. See, I'm getting it all confused because this is the fourth car I've done. Now, by the way, guys, if you are interested in this car, you want a little bit of peace of mind after you buy it, check out the link below for Grainger, our sponsor of this video, that does extended warranties after even this Kia's long drivetrain warranty goes out, so that you have OEM technicians, OEM parts, so you can keep this for more than 10 years and have complete confidence and serenity. All right, let's talk about this car. Let's start where we always do with the styling. Now, the Sorento, of course, is the brother, sister, cousin car of the Santa Fe, and they are very similar in a lot of ways, but the Kia has kind of given you these almost insect-like stacked lights that, are a little bit different, are a little bit unique. This one with its pearlescent paint, which is an upgrade, by the way, and this black grille and black accent looks a little stormtrooperish to me. I think it's a rather handsome car, and of course, as with all of these soft roaders, the car now is much more squared off, much more square jawed. And here's a bit of trivia. Did you know that the very first generation of Kia Sorento actually came with a low range and I believe a rear locker? That's right. So unlike this X-Pro, which doesn't have any of that, the first generation was a true off-roader. And if I got that wrong, correct me, but I don't think I did. Of course, back then, Kia didn't have the same reputation for reliability, for luxury, for styling that it does now. It was very much a different beast, but at least they tried something different. Now, let's see how much room is in the back seat before we go under the hood. This has captain's chairs, which are very luxurious if you ask me. And of course, a third row, which is down right now. But, big sunroof. I've got rear passenger vents. I've got power. And best of all, I love how Kia does this, where they put the USB-C ports in the back of the first row, in this case, giving the passengers, let's say kiddos, full access to all onboard power. And another nice thing about these captain's chairs is that if you do need to get in the third row, you can just walk right through there. And I will not be getting in the third row because we only have about a half an hour to do this review. So let's look under the hood and talk about what powers this bad boy. Now, I believe this is a 4-cylinder turbo, Cole, that produces 281 horsepower and 311 pound-foot of torque, mated to, in this case, an 8-speed automatic transmission that powers all 4 wheels, which is kind of par for the course. It's what you'd get in a 4Runner as well. Once upon a time when I started this, now I feel so old. Back in the day, in 2009, everybody kind of wanted and longed after a V8. Then, Ford came along with EcoBoost 6-cylinder turbos, and now we're going to 4-cylinder turbos. It is the way of the world. Having said that, today Ram just said that they're bringing back the Hemi in their pickup truck. So maybe times are a-changing. But adequate power, like I said, 281 horsepower, 311 pound-foot of torque, which is plenty for a vehicle like this. And let's see how much room is in the back with the rear seats down. Oh, it's over here. There it is. Voila. And the answer is about as much as you'd expect. So not a huge amount of space. I mean, when you put these guys back up, what you're going to have is just enough room for a couple of grocery bags, maybe a roller board. But you know, these vehicles serve as family haulers, and then in a pinch, you can put the kiddos in the back or anybody you don't like. I know that may not be fair, but it really is the way. And then look at this. This is a really nice touch. Look, we got powered second row seats that we can slam down. Look at that. If we didn't have the headrest, you would go all the way down. So if you need to put something back in here that is big and you didn't want to have to go around and put those seats down, that is a nice touch. I mean, the thing that Hyundai and Kia do so well, so well, is that they give you a lot of amenities for less money. And that has always been one of their strongest selling points, and this is no different. Now, is this a true off-roader? Look, I think, like I just did the review of the Honda Trail Sport, if it doesn't have a low range, it's probably a soft roader, which is just fine. I mean, how many of you are actually going to be going into Hell's Revenge in this? Which would make for an interesting video, by the way, Cole. So, hey Kia, if you want, hit us up. We'll actually see just how off-road worthy this vehicle really is. Now, both Kia and Hyundai recently changed interior styling to make it a little bit more flashy with this giant curved screen. And I do mean giant. I mean, look at that thing. That is just tremendous. And then in terms of drive modes, we've got a center locker, which, okay, it's fine. I mean, it's not going to, get you out of Hell's Revenge, at least not without damaging the car. But it will do well if you're on a dirt road. Snow mode, sport, eco, of course, normal. We have a heated steering wheel. We have heated and cooled seats, USB-C charging. We've got these kind of funny dual setup where, how do you change that? Not like that. How do you change this thing? Is it this way? There you go. Never have loved this feature. I think it was innovative when it first came out. Basically, this little screen does two things. It controls your HVAC or it does the music. And what ends up happening is you're like, hey, I need to change my temperature. And you're like, oh, shoot, I got to hit this first. And then you can change the temperature because these knobs do two different things. They're volume or temperature. It gets a little confusing. I guess if you own this car, people always say you get used to it. I'm not so sure. When I first saw it, I thought it was very innovative. Now I kind of think it's one of those, flashy tech features for the sake of technology. But I mean, this thing is loaded to the gills with everything. Actually, let me correct myself. I did believe I misspoke earlier. I said it was an 8-speed automatic. It is not. It is an 8-speed dual clutch, which is, okay. On the scale of transmissions for off-roading, I would put the dual clutch at the very bottom. In other words, the one that you don't want. But on the road or on the racetrack, it's perfectly fine. But both Hyundai and Kia have kind of tripled down on their dual clutches. And in the past, when we've taken these guys off-road, we have figured out that oftentimes that dual clutch will overheat. But let's see how it does when I'm going to give it the beans. And I shift it. And the dual clutch does make for a smoother, quicker shift transition. And you can really feel that. It almost feels electric in some ways. But in traffic, it can be a little rough. Let's put it that way. But you do have paddle shifters, which I'm sure nobody in the history of a Sorento has ever used seriously. But once again, if you want to buy a car for the 1% of the time that you won't use it, which is on the track, then you've got the you got the paddle shifters to prove it. Kind of in terms of electronics, both the Japanese and the Koreans give you all of the latest ADAS stuff, so things like blind spot monitoring, emergency braking, and lane keep. It's all here, which is great. Of course, it's not and I'm saying this in air quotes, full self-driving like Tesla, which isn't full self-driving, or Super Cruise. But for most people who have now shifted over to the latest ADAS, latest and greatest ADAS, if you're going on the highway, these driver aids are good, but they're not ready for prime time if you think that this car, even a Tesla, will drive itself. They're just level 2. All right, let's floor it here again and see how it does. Yeah, it's okay. It's a little harsh. 4-cylinder turbos tend to be a little harsh. Not the smoothest of things, but not bad. I mean, from a driving dynamics point of view, this is not a canyon carver, nor does it pretend to be. But what I really like about it is kind of this sense of style that both Hyundai and Kia are bringing to their cars. So I like this. I'm hoping looks like it's almost real wood. Is it real wood? Or is it from the plastic wood tree? What do you think, Cole?
Fake.
Cole says it's fake. So there we have it. But it is stylish. Don't love all of the piano black. That collects dust like nothing else on this earth. But in general, soft touch materials in most places. And gosh, look, they give you 4 window controls. Are you listening, Volkswagen? And traditional mirror controls, plus memory seats, traditional stocks here, and look at that. What an idea, Cole, huh? Vents that actually move like that instead of in the screen. So all in all, I think that over the last 10 years, I have been mightily impressed by how both Kia and Hyundai have upped their interior quality, their build quality, their value for money. And if you're looking for a car that gives you all of that, plus, that, I'm going to say it, Korean goodness, because it is Korean goodness nowadays, then this might be a great car for you. The downside is they are a little, especially in this white color, forgettable. I mean, if you were to park this Sorento next to, I don't know, Santa Fe, maybe the new Honda Trail Sport, which is also reviewed in this in white, and next to the myriad of other Palisades and the other vehicles that are kind of all the same crossovers, you might have a hard time, finding your car in the local parking lot. And that's just because everything has now become basically this, just a big box with off-road aspirations without actually the off-road cred. So Kia, I will give you a challenge as soon as we get out of this car and close this video that I think you would do well with. And that is, okay, let me jump out of here. That is, how about one of these vehicles, you start competing with the 4Runner? Why not? Give it a low range. Give it some, underbody cladding. Maybe some off-road worthy suspension. Maybe not 8.2 inches, but let's say 10.2 inches of ground clearance. And, make the rest of the car match the off-road blockiness of the tires. And I think you might be getting out of the bland crossover into something that's got a little bit more, as Nathan would say, cojones. Because, especially here in Colorado, if it can go off-road and has real off-road cred, that translates to real money. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for RMAP for making this possible. Head on over to Granger by clicking on the link below, and I will see you next time. Ciao.